NXT on Tuesday was the final show before the Great American Bash. And, it's getting hot in the summer. We're going to be getting a pre-show barbecue on Sunday featuring the return of Kevin Owens. After a year and a half on the sidelines, he's returning at the pre-show barbecue. And hopefully he's in better shape than Tony D'Angelo was as things got a little heated in the parking lot. This was a contract signing unlike no other. They had promoted dual contract signings for the men's and women's championships, and Naraku showed up with the contract, presented it to Tony D'Angelo in the parking lot, and Tony D'Angelo took a look, and it blew up in his face. An amazing moment of television as Naraku just laughed uproariously. I hope this man wins the title on Sunday.
I feel like there's a very good chance. Yeah,
he should.
Yeah, when they announced Evil coming to WWE, I certainly was flabbergasted, but I've seen the result here, especially in this version of NXT that seems to I want to say feel like a great fit for these very over the top cartoonish types of characters. He is perfect for this version of NXT, and they've arrived at, I think, a version of him that it feels on the one hand maybe that much more campier, diving that much more into like your mustache twirling type of heel, and I think it's actually great.
This guy will grow the mustache out if so asked.
Oh yeah, I thought the angle was like ridiculous and also old school and also awesome. And I think his evil laugh is, again, a perfect sort of catch. It's super kind of, again, campy, corny, but I think it's so over the top that it works.
Yeah. So all show long, the idea was Tony D'Angelo, will he be able to defend the title? And it leads to Robert Stone coming out, and he's approached by Mason Rook and Jackson Drake. And the thought is, it's like, oh, are they going to turn this into some four-way? And then Tony D'Angelo, channeling Terry Funk in the tag league, comes back. Eye is bandaged, leaking blood, his bloody retina just protruding through this bandage, comes and fights off Naraku, raising his belt, and in fact, we will get the one-on-one match between these two with the one-eyed Tony D'Angelo against 2020 Naraku.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how effective of a tease all of this was that they weren't going to do this match. It just seemed to be a way to, break off to Mason Rook versus Jackson Drake in their feud for the next contender. Beyond that, it possibly offers an out for Tony D'Angelo to lose the championship.
Certainly does. It really would weaken Naraku that this guy's got one eye, and this is Naraku's first big match in NXT. I think unless you do some kind of non-finish, I would just flip the belt here. This is not like the NXT championship. It should not be having these lengthy runs. And I think having Naraku in this role, there's a lot of baby faces he can work with. We said this before in the lead up to D'Angelo winning this title. He's really at the limit of your time in NXT. He has been there almost 5 years at this point. That is more than enough time to assess where this guy is in terms of progression. He's had this title run. I think you could easily get this belt onto Naraku on Sunday.
Because he's pretty much starting, a brand new character. I think you maybe cut him a little bit more slack, with his duration. But I think he's done enough, in this time to be able to at least gauge where he's at. The bigger question though is where he would fit on the main roster. There's just not much space for him right now. So I don't see him getting called up, if he does lose the championship. But I think a chase story would be decent for him.
There were some good segments on the show as well. They did a sit-down. They did the most polar opposite contract signing for Lola Vice and Kendall Gray that was completely serious, and Robert Stone hosted it, and they both did really good speeches about why they want to win. As part of me watching this, it felt like they they really are promoting their women's division, and they've got the women to back it up as being the solid women's division that in some ways this felt like the main event after Tuesday's show, the way they elevated this one. And I was also really impressed with Saquon Sugars and Dion Lennox. Like I've been very impressed with Sugars, and he performed great, but I also thought this was Dion Lennox's best promo I've heard from him. Maybe the best anything I've seen from Dion Lennox. They did a very good job with that segment. Out in front of the crowd, some good lines from Sugars here. I think if you tried my jock strap on, you'd have room left. I can't remember what he said. He said he had a small dick. Okay,
sure,
but he clevered it up, and we got the big split of the culling after all this time. Sean Spears, Nico Vance. Why?
That's what you get for making somebody try to high five you in the middle of the match. What a weird way to like deliver this sort of like final chapter. Like what a strange thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, like the breakup I think is long overdue. I think this group sucks. I think it's terrible for like Izzy Dame, who does not seem to like jive with like the whole gothic, thing that they were attempting. Honestly, none of them really do. Sean Spears doesn't even really. So I don't think like this group ever really, I don't know, should have existed, quite frankly. And coming off of this, I don't know if there's much appetite for a Sean Spears sort of like redemption or at least like revenge story. So I don't even know if you're really getting that. This just might be like, bye Sean Spears.
He's in a good and bad spot. Like he's sort of where Andre Chase was, where like Spears, I can't ever imagine that this guy is leaving NXT. And
why?
Because
you mean getting called up?
Called up, yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Exactly.
I think he'd be like going to be an agent or like a coach like with his school or whatever. Yeah,
but I think given the so many inexperienced talents, it's really valuable to have the Sean Spears of the world in NXT. There's a value there. Much like I thought there was a value in an Andre Chase, but that's not always the best role to have, where it's like you're sort of like the veteran on the roster that is all about finding our next talents. But there is a value there because a lot of these talents could benefit from some of these veterans. But
sure,
I just don't know what their thinking is when it comes to long-term, those types of performers. So they have 7 matches for Sunday's show, which will be on CW, meaning you will have commercial breaks for some of these. I'm curious how people will respond to those, just given this is technically a PLE. It's D'Angelo and Naraku for the NXT Championship, Lola Vice and Kendall Gray, which I have high expectations for the women's title, Miles Bourne, Tavion Heights for the North American title, Zarya and Tatum, they're running that one back for the women's North American title, Ren Sinclair and Ariana Grace for the Speed women's title, Shiloh Hill versus Tristan Angels, and Saquon Sugars versus Dion Lennox. So they are getting everybody on here, plus a pre-show barbecue featuring Kevin Owens. All the makings of a memorable night for AEW.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see the evil title win. Any other title changes? I don't know. The Speed, maybe.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if maybe Kendall Gray.
I think they're going to do the longer chase with Kendall Gray. Like she comes up short, and her winning the title is going to be something big that they stretch out a lot further than this. But I could see the men's title flipping. You could switch that one out. You know what actually would be great for the CW show is if he's going to be there, and I know they're already he's going to be busy barbecuing. Kevin Owens on commentary for the show would be awesome. If he's up to date on these storylines, if he's following NXT, he would be awesome on commentary with Vic Joseph. There was no Booker T on Tuesday. I could go with Vic and Kevin Owens for a couple hours.
He's coaching on LFG, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, he was involved in that post-neck surgery. So, but if he's up to date on these characters and storylines, I always thought that guy would be a great commentator. So something that maybe they could use him for. Okay, this is an unfortunate story with Dustin.
By the way, our friends at Up Next will be reviewing that particular show Monday, 11 a.m.
Yeah, we the schedule is all over the place this weekend, but Way and I will cover Night of Champions Saturday on the YouTube channel, and then Sunday night we're going to cover Forbidden Door. We will have site coverage for Slammiversary and Great American Bash on Sunday, and then Davey and Braden will go live Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So that's how everything is broken up. We won't have a podcast dedicated to Slammiversary because there is only so much when it comes to 4 shows. The month of June on the Post Wrestling Cafe is going to feature 2 editions of Rewind Away. Already in your feeds is a retrospective on the career of Manami Toyota. Plus, we are discussing WWE's WrestleMania 33 event from 2017, highlighted by the return of the Hardys, John Cena gets down on one knee, and Roman Reigns attempts to retire The Undertaker. Plus, we have coverage this month of New Japan's Dominion card. It's an Ask Away mailbag show as we take all of your questions. I will be sitting down to chat about UFC Freedom 250 with Neil Flanagan, and so much more. All of that can be yours at postwrestlingcafe.com.